Please share some of your favorite experiences and some of your most challenging moments you have had with Where There Be Dragons. Trips.
So I'll do the favorite experience first. We would do and one of the reasons I'm here actually is to help develop an understanding amongst the school community here in terms of how experiential education outside of the U.S. is different than experiential education inside the U.S. and what are the different considerations. And when we're working in the U.S., you can kind of create boxes to check, hey, in order for us to succeed in this, we need to do that. When you're working in a different country where the rules are different, the language is different, the customs are different, the histories are different, the relationships are different, you can't just kind of come up with a simple grid. What you have to do is you have to come up with a guide mentality, an ability to go into an environment and respond appropriately to the unique circumstances of that environment. And so our work wasn't coming up with systems, it was coming up with a guide training and an ability to support guides so that they were making the best decisions on the spot. And the guide trainings that we ran were amazing. So my favorite part of the work were the guide trainings. And if we did our guide trainings really well, there would be a moment in the guide training where I could step back and kind of disappear. And my role in the company didn't matter because the guides were all there. They were all committed to the mission. They had developed trust in each other and trust in the organization. And my role just would disappear, and I got to just sort of sit in the shadows and enjoy the moment. That was my favorite part. And I would say that, probably the most challenging part was when something would break, and things were breaking all the time. And when you're the head of an organization, you don't get to sort of tell everybody you're having a bad day. You kind of just have to like fake it, and you have to just step into messes and fix them, and you don't ever get credit for it. No one ever really knows necessarily what you've done, and it's very lonely. And so it's true that it's lonely at the top, and there's I think it's from Shakespeare, heavy is the head that wears the crown, and I think people, there's this sort of natural kind of appreciation that people have for the leader, and they think maybe the leader has a bunch of resources and benefits and lifestyle things that are wonderful, and that it's just it's a beautiful place to be, but it's actually also a tragically lonely place to be.
What do you think your 12-year-old self would say about who you are now? And what advice would you now give yourself at that age?
My 12-year-old self would be really impressed. And I think my 12-year-old self would also be poking at me and saying that, hey, you can be fake. And I think that the beauty of a 12-year-old is a 12-year-old can see through BS. And sometimes adults kind of, they just sort of, they settle into kind of their personas, at their adult personas, and the persona that I have to be as a professional when I sit here and talk about something that's a part of my professional self. And I don't get to kind of be like vulnerable or kind of like, and I think that's actually one of the reasons why I sold my company, was that I didn't like that I couldn't always be me. And I wanted to know, is there some part of me that I can go out and become that I can't experience now? I'm still trying to figure out what that is. So I think my 12-year-old self would be impressed, but at the same time a little disappointed, and for good reason. And I appreciate the question. I think I'm going to take that one back with me.